Hello everyone, and it's Suggaah Symphonic here, and we're back with a speed paint of Freminet and Mualani. I decided for this one to just go ahead and just finish the art, because usually whenever I'm drawing and talking, the rambling gets out of hand and we're sitting here for a while. And you may be wondering, okay, why in the world are you shipping these two? They never met, and like, what is wrong with you? And like what about Freminet and that stupid fire dude? He's not stupid. I just forget his name. What is his name? The lion kid. I don't know. And then what about the reporter girl and whatever? Yeah, I don't care. We don't care. I do not care. It's funny because for me, their relationship is like reinforced even more because of the previous event that just happened. You know, the Easy Breeze Resort, the summer event, you know. Mualani was heavily featured there, and she was actually still there for a little bit longer whenever you were leaving. And after that, the next month, you know, I think, well, I'm not sure, I gotta remember, I'm sorry, Freminet. But Freminet's birthday was afterwards. And Freminet mentioned in his birthday card that he went to Easy Breeze Resort. And then my heart just went, oh! Cause that means there's a very high possibility that he could have met Mualani. Because he went there and she was there, and oh, I just love it. But you're like, okay, but why do you ship them? Why is this a thing? So from the get-go, out of all the little siblings, I've always liked Freminet the most. He resonates with me the most. His event with the storybook, the picture book, and Thelxie's Fantastic Adventures. That storybook, Thelxie's Fantastic Adventure. That's hard to say. That event made me cry, man. Because it was tackling mental health and, like, I don't know, Freminet just hits different. Because it's the way he handled the situation and how he opened up about his own struggles and mess, and it was just a really beautiful event. And it kind of helped you see how he's like, each day is a challenge for him, but he's getting through it. And you know, I just love that so much. It took me a bit to realize, but I think Freminet is possibly my second most favorite character in Genshin besides Sino. Now, I do like a lot of people, but if I'm being real with myself here, it's probably Sino, then Freminet, and then Lumine, and then, you know, it goes down the, you know, but Freminet just hits different for me. And if you don't know Freminet's lore, orphan, his dad was a drunk, but he also, like, actively had, I believe he owed some sort of gang or the Fatui. I should probably actually read it. But he was in debt, basically. And the only way that his mother could pay the debt after his father had already passed because they had killed him was to give them Freminet. But Freminet was under a lie, assuming that his mother just gave him up. And that was not the case, because Arlecchino actually ended up telling him the truth. So, yeah, there's that. I guess we're paused here. Oh, okay. I must have been doing something. But the Fertui, the first director of the House of the Hearth, I suspect was the Torre, but I'm not fully sure because I'm not that deep in the lore. I just know it was one of the trashy Fertui members. And that he basically was mentally broken by that guy, because if they did the slightest thing wrong, like, they would get punished, they would be like tortured and just in pain and stuff, which is a shame. And in that instance as well, they used Freminet as like a child soldier, basically. So not only he's going through all this nonsense, but they're like, okay, now you go and fight and kill people. He was a child assassin, basically. Which is not it. But, you know, it's the Fatui, so, you know. So it makes sense why he has all these mental issues. And why he, like, literally disassociates whenever he's fighting. Hence the helmet situation. But with all this happening with him, I was like, okay, he needs some sunshine. He needs some sunshine. And who is sunshine? Mualani. Mualani is the epitome of sunshine and happiness and joy and support and like respect and love. She's just perfect. And whenever she came out, I was like, this character's amazing. I love this character. She's like so strong-willed, but also so kind and gentle at the same time. She loves to surf, she loves to swim, she loves everything about the water. She literally says it in their description. Like, I just think it's so cute that they're both water babies. They would have so much in common, they relate so much to each other, but also they have so much different where they can support each other in their weaknesses. And I really do enjoy that, because I would imagine Freminet, he would be more grounded, more realistic, more stoic, still extremely caring, of course, because Freminet is the epitome of being a very caring person, just like Mualani. But he's just introspective with his cares, very introspective. And Mualani would just say the first thing that's on her head, on her mind. She's so wild. I love her. Like, they just complement each other very well. I've always, like, well, you guys know, whenever I do, like, see these characters or draw them, I see them in my head as, like, full-on, normal-sized people. And for me, with Freminet, I always imagined him as, even though he's the youngest out of his 3 siblings, that he's the tallest. I like the fact that he would be like a gentle giant in a sense. I do love that a lot. Gentle giant Freminet is my favorite kind of Freminet. And yeah, a part of me wants to think that he has some sort of Scottish accent as well. That would be so cute. But I'm not fully sure about all that. Because I don't know all the because I think this new region that we're in, Nodcry, I think that's more Russian, I believe. Is it more Russian? Yeah, it's more Russian. I don't know. I just imagine Freminet as being Scottish. And then Mualani is like West or South African, depending on how you look at it. But they're literal polar opposites on the globe, which is very funny. In my headcanon for them, Freminet actually has quite a disdain for the Fatui. Yes, he's happy about Oh, not happy. He's satisfied that he has a home and a place to stay, and that the new director, Arlecchino, now I can't remember her actual name. You guys remember in the other video I couldn't think of her real name, but I couldn't think of her game name, but I only remembered her real name, and now I can't remember her real name, and I remember her character name, because her name is Arlecchino, but I called her yeah, what's the name? Her real name, not her Fatui name. Oh my lord. Anyway, it looks like there's a smiley face on Mualani's belly, but that's how her tattoo looks. It's how her tattoo looks, man. But anyway, I feel that for Freminet, there's like a huge hole in his heart still when it came to his mother. His real mother, not quote-unquote father. And this would slowly fester kinda in a deal, to the point where he has a very, very bad taste in his mouth about being associated with the Fatui. So much so to the point where he gets a little bit crazy, a little bit mentally unstable on the topic, to the point where he literally like makes a mechanical, like, not doll, but replica of his mother in a sense. But he like hides it from everyone. But it's like a secret project he's been working on for ages, and he's like, that's why he's always asking for like different parts and stuff. Cause he can make all the like the penguins and stuff real easy. It's really easy for him to do. But he's asking for all these parts and stuff under the guise that he's just working on, you know, pears and all the other little trinkets. But in actuality, he's working on this life-size replica, mechanical replica of the embodiment of his memories of his mother. So whenever Mualani comes into the picture, he feels joy again, basically. He feels like the happiness that he missed. And he starts to become quite a bit possessive over that. To the fact where he's a little crazy, bro. A little crazy. And to the point where he would actually start to defy orders a bit. And Arlecchino starts noticing there's a bit of resistance whenever she orders him to do something, or if he's ordered to do something by another Fatui member. He still does it, but there's a delay that never used to be there. So she was already kind of suspecting something was up. And then when it comes to actually like encountering it, Freminet hasn't told his siblings Lynette and Lenny any of this that he's working on. And when he makes up his mind that he's finally going to, alright, I'm gonna get out of here, I'm gonna go with Mualani, and I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna go back there, and I'm gonna find her, and I'm gonna request to stay there. That's his plan, because he's just trying to get out. Basically this plan is like found out, of course, but it's already well in its way. And it was during the period, this is just my head, this has not happened yet, this is just my headcanon. Some of the cast was visiting Fontaine. Like some of the people from Natlan. It was specifically Shalonen. It was, what's her face, the bird? the girl with the weird pants. What's her name? I always forget these people's names when I'm not looking at them. And then and then Mualani. Okay, and then Lumine was there. And basically everybody was there because of some sort of event was happening, and Lumine threw the teapot, because as I mentioned previously, everything happens in the teapot. That's like the congregation of everybody's world right there. Whoever is invited to the teapot, you get to meet everybody across the world. So basically everybody was in Fontaine at this current period. Well, not everybody, but that group of people. Whenever they were leaving, that's whenever Freminet was like, okay, now is my chance. I have to leave without being seen, but I also have to let them know that I'm coming with them under the guise that I'm under a fortuity assignment. So that's how I'll be able to get through this. So he was going to pretend that he was a part of some sort of project that was happening. Oh, Chaska, that's her name, Chaska. The bird girl that I was talking about. I forgot her name. With the terrible pants. So that was his plan, basically. It was found out, and him escaping, because basically he was able to convince, or at least allude to Mualani in particular, the fact it's a little bit deceptive. He was being a little bit deceptive, which is bad for Freminet. But that he was basically, it was horrible living where he was. Like, he was making all this. Well, he wasn't making it up. I mean, he's not wrong. It's taxing. It's like not slave work, but he's stuck there and he has to listen no matter what. And basically, he was just like, "Please let me just come with you," type deal. I almost said type beat, y'all. I saved y'all. I saved myself. Well, I didn't save it because I just said it. And Mualani was like, okay, I trust you. Like, I understand you need to get out of this. You need to just go with the flow. You need to just listen to orders, but you also want to be free. And she was like, yeah, come with us. And like, we could totally hang out. You can stay in my village, and everything's gonna be good. And he was like, great. But once everything was found out, Mualani was left in the dark on the fact that she was basically deceived. And he was like, okay, now I'm gonna have to really play this up because I need to get out of here type deal. Like, it was urgent for him. It was urgent. Like, his disdain at this point was just off the charts. And he just saw, like, Arlecchino at this point as just kind of a placeholder. He's like, you're not my real mom. I don't care for this organization. You destroyed my life, my mind, my family, and I want to leave. That kind of deal. And in this aspect, that's whenever he activates his lifelike mechanism that is basically the embodiment of his mother and his memories of his mother. In this machine itself, it provides, because we learned that in this recent quest, Arlecchino is a descendant of the Crimson Moon dynasty. Well, we already knew that, but we have more context on it. Now, before the main story quest, I had already, Crimson Moon dynasty, I know this. And Nodcry is all about the moon and stuff. So I was like, okay, so Freminet, since there's a huge Fatui presence there, and not cry. Freminet probably had the ability to learn about or understand up to a point Puvaki and was able to implement it in a special way in this machine to where it could counter or at least reflect back his reflect back Arlecchino's abilities if she were to basically like attack him or attack the machine itself. This machine is kind of like, you know, the boss fight that's next to the courthouse and Fontaine where it's the two dancing. It's basically the woman, but she's more akin to have a lot of mermaid and aquatic features. It's all metal, by the way. It's just mermaid aquatic type features. And she's basically like kind of like a siren in a sense, but she still does the skating and the ice skating and stuff like that. Like, she's able to do that, but once she encounters water, her legs can transform into a mermaid type deal. This machine as well has a voice, and it actively refers to Freminet as her child, as her son, and she actively says that directly to Arlecchino. This is like I'm the better parent, I am his true mother, and stuff like that. You know, this true like craziness, you know, because it was Freminet implementing this, so it's more so his kind of psychosis on the matter just taking hold and showing how really far off he was, and Arlecchino finally realizing like, oh, that's how bad it is actually. It's really bad. But no one knew this because Freminet is so introspective. He keeps everything to himself. So this machine was actually able to counter Arlecchino's, or at least some of Arlecchino's ability, to the point where it actually like stunned her. It didn't like harm her more so, but it prevented her to be able to chase after him for a certain period of time. And he was actually able to get away without Mualani suspecting anything. Now, the price for not only defecting from the Fatui, but also attacking Father herself, well, that is a consequence yet to be known or felt. More so because I am still like planning this side of Freminet's story. But I do know there's going to be countless search parties, countless things that Freminet's going to have to do, kind of like shady behind Mualani's back, which he does not like in the slightest. But if he wants to stay free and live this lie that he's created for himself, he's going to have to use his smarts and everything he's learned in the Fatui to make it work. I had it to where there was already an attempt whenever he got back to Mualani's village to like take him back basically, but he was able to stop it in time because while he was there, because he was there for like maybe a couple months, and then everybody in the village was like, oh, this Freminet guy is pretty great, I love this guy, because he would like fix everything around the village. He would make little mechanics for the village, he would do so many things for the village, and they're like, oh, I love this guy, he's great, he should stay. And that's exactly what Freminet wants the village to think. They're like, he wants them to be like, okay, I want them to want me to stay. That's his plan. And Mualani's none the wiser. She's like, yeah, you should stay. This is great. Like, you're helping out my village, and if you help my village, you know, like, I mean, you're basically family, you know? So it's just a huge, long line of just deception, and it's fueled through his just not hatred, but it's fueled through the just deep hurt Freminet has from the fact that both of his parents, even though his father was in a different kind of category, both of the death of his parents and the fact that he's an orphan and has to work for this organization is because the organization itself was the ones who killed them. So it's that kind of deal. Now I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it was the Fatui that like is doing all this nonsense. And I don't know about you, but if Kid is forced into a situation and has to work for people who killed their parents, and yes, the new director is much better than what they were dealing with, they aren't just gonna automatically heal. And I don't care who you are, Arlecchino is not the best parent in the world. Just because she's merciful and much more merciful than the other director doesn't mean she's good at what she's doing. And I don't think she's quite great. I do think she's trying though, but I don't think she's quite great. And the hurt that Freminet in particular went through, because it's kind of, for me, it's alluded that Linny and Lynette are more favored by Arlecchino, and Freminet's kind of always left in the background. Mostly because his skills are very specific. He's stealthy, and he's good at diving and anything of that aspect, and he's good at mechanics. Like, he's a back-end person, so it makes sense. But even whenever speaking to them, there's a reverence for the siblings more so than anything else. Is this done? Oh no, we still got some time. I just had to check because I know I can yap. As I never pause. But yeah, that is why my headcanon for Freminet went in such, I guess, an interesting, kind of darker side of things. But the best way to summarize it is that he's trying to chase happiness and sunlight. Things that he does not have whenever he's under the rule of the Fatui. And he just wants his happiness. He just wants his bit of happiness back. And we're trying to give it to him, but he's taking it in the worst way possible. Like, he's doing the worst way to get there. And I'm still kind of developing this part of his story. This little headcanon of mine. Because he's going to have to face these consequences in one way or another. Because the Fatui is a ruthless organization, and they're not just going to let this slide. But at this current moment, he's had the smarts, skills, and the abilities to be able to counter everything they've thrown at him so far while he's in Mualani's village. Because he's made secret defenses. The doll, mechanical doll that's like his mom, that's kind of like a siren mermaid situation. That's like out and about, hiding underwater, swimming underwater, but it's so deep that no one notices. So whenever he does go diving, he's able to check on it. He has a whole new little diving facility underwater that he made himself, and in Mualani's village, and that's where he like does maintenance on it, or psychotically talks to it as if it's his mother. You know, stuff like that. And yeah, he's going to have to face the consequences of his mistakes, the consequences of deceiving Mualani. He's going to have to face the consequences of basically translating his distress, sadness, and depression and putting it all into a machine that isn't, sorry Freminet, but it's not real. It's not real. It's not real, homie. Your mom is dead. You know, that kind of deal. There's going to be a lot of reflection that needs to be had. But hey, I love writing stories. I love having headcanons for my characters I love. And I love exploring the dark part of Freminet because, yes, he is a soft boy, but he's also an assassin. It's literally in his story. He's a killer. He's a killer, and he's ruthless. Whenever he puts that helmet on, he disassociates and eradicates everything around him. This man is a killer. And I love him because he needs help. And that is it. That is the headcanon, that is the story. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you enjoyed the speed paint as well. I have such a fun time talking about all my headcanons and stuff for Genshin because these things live rent-free in my head, and I can't really talk much about them to other people because it's just like, okay, you're crazy. These are pixelated people. Why are you making all this? But it's so fun to dream up stories, to make characters. It's so fun to do all of this. And I just thank you guys as I save my files for watching. Oh, yep. There we go. There's the other picture. I had to get my logo and my watermarks. Thank you guys for listening so much. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.